Welcome to Your Untamed Life, the podcast bringing you stories of transformation, growth, fear, success, alignment, challenges, and more, with the intention to inspire you and light you up to find your own aligned path of transformation and let it unfold in front of you without letting fear hold you back. I'm Amanda Petra, your host and passionate human being. Without further ado, let's get started. What are you up to today? Just before we start, I'd love to know.
Well, we just moved, so we've just signed up to a new gym, and I've been every day this week as much as I did not want to. And I signed up to a dance class this morning at the gym.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous because, I haven't done it before. There's all these people I don't know. Is everyone going to be looking at me, judging that I'm uncoordinated? It was so much fun. It was a really great workout. No one was coordinated anyway, so it didn't really matter. And I just feel so good that got my butt out of the house to do that. And they've got this amazing creche for kids. It's not just a room, it's like an actual play center attached to it.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my morning, letting my son play for 2 hours. And I am co-authoring a book. So I was madly trying to finish my chapter to send that today.
Wow.
While my son was in the creche, and then he just lost his shit. So that went out the window. So I'm hoping I hope Tara takes a little bit longer to get home so I can just sit there and nut it out. Then I got a meeting with my business partner. We build tiny homes, so I got a meeting with him this afternoon. And
you are like my favorite human. I'm moving, and like we have a bus. We're living off grid very soon. We might actually change it to being a truck, but tiny homes are like my jam.
Oh wow, how cool is that? It's so fun. It's such a fun space to be in, and it can actually help so many people. So
yeah,
wow, that's so cool. I didn't know you were into little mobile spaces.
yeah. We just want to go fully off grid, and we wanted to help other people too. So like we started sharing our story on like online, but like as like a website for like information on how to start building a bus and stuff, because it was like there was nothing that was very clean and clear, because you have to get like engineering certificates and all that. But like just so into that space, just so obsessed with like there's so much possibility there. Like we even did like a calculator, because I'm like obsessed with this kind of stuff. I've like fixed address versus like on the road costs, and I'm like, it's so cheap and so affordable and such a like better way, like quality of life.
That's it, quality of life. It gives you that more freedom. You can go wherever you want to go, but like that financial freedom as well. You're not stuck with the burden of a heavy mortgage and all these. The cost of living is so expensive, so it does give you that flexibility to actually enjoy life, not wait till retirement where you can't even do anything because you're like bruised and battered and nothing works anymore. So it gives you the freedom to actually go and live your life, and while you've got money, kind of
it's insane. And if only everyone did it, I feel like it'd be so nice, because then there wouldn't be as much land just ruined by houses and taken up by it.
I think it could build beautiful different communities and children. It could just really change what the landscape looks like for our little future leaders, because prior to us making this move, we've moved across New South Wales from Sydney, which I know you're not the biggest fan of, and either was I. So I was always so keen to just get away from that hustle and bustle, and I always felt so stressed. And anyway, we were in an apartment there, and I was like, my kid cannot grow up with these tiny 4 walls, without any space, without a backyard, without trees. I just was not having a bar of it. So I love that children will be able to connect more with nature, connect more with people, and get back to like maybe that, I'm going to say old school for the sake of it, but like climbing a tree, like that.
Yeah, the very simple things. And it's like we don't end up doing those things. I feel like as adults, we put so many barriers up to it. We're like, it's too hard to like go that far or do that thing. And it's like if you already live on the road, it's just easy. So you just do more of those kind of things. You know what I mean? Like,
like we are creatures of convenience, and it's very hard for us to put effort into things once. If it's not easy, it's like, well, why should I bother?
I was kind of talking about this the other day. Like we just put the barriers at play. It's weird. And like kids, but I feel like we've been kind of scarred or burnt by so many, maybe not new things that we've tried, but we're like, we've either experienced it and we're not bored of it, but we've done it. Or it's like we've kind of been burned by it. It hasn't been as good as our expectations. So then we don't kind of go and put effort into more play. And I'm like, it's so weird. Like, why do we like cut ourselves off from all these amazing experiences unintentionally?
Yeah, so true. And I think once you just start to expand your mind, but like the 95% of people don't want to expand their mind and they don't know there's a better way to do things. And I think this is why podcasts are so important, to just spark something, inspire someone and make a small change. They try something, dip their toe in and they like it. And then the power of conversation is so important to help people make those changes in their life. So
yeah, it's true. And everyone's always like, everyone has a podcast. I'm like, well, everyone has one because it's like the most primal kind of way of spreading information and also just being just conversations and sharing experiences. And there's so much like deep rooted like human nature in there. So interesting.
And it's going to be around, like you can always refer to it. It's like a book. There are so many books out there. There are so many authors. A lot of them are saying the same thing, but you also kind of need to test and try new things until you find the person that resonates with you, that you're going to actually listen to. So even though there's lots of podcasts, like I like listening to you because of your energy and, you know, like attracts like. So I think, it's really important to keep sharing what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you listened. Oh, and what you said in my DMs, I was like literally in tears. Thank you. You get it. And our energy was so good. Yeah. It's really like that. I can't listen to anyone if it doesn't like have that energy that either I need or that kind of matches my vibration. And I'm like, I'm just gonna turn it off. Doesn't mean you don't like people. It's exactly like books. Like you read a book and you're like, no, I can't. Like completely good information, but something about this is not for me. Or you need like one line out of it and that's it.
Right. Or you've got them in the memory break and you actually come back to it when the time's right for you.
Yeah. They just find you when you need it too. Yeah. Podcasts are kind of the same there.
Fall off the shelf, literally.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, maybe it's time for me to read this. And I looked at the cover so many times, but I never bothered actually reading it. And then that transitioned into me listening to the podcast. And I thought I was not ready for it a few years ago, but I was ready for it like 3 years later once I had known about the title of the book. So and this will come up on someone's radar when they're ready for it, whether it's me sharing it, you sharing it, whatever it might be. So cool how the universe works.
So cool. What is the book? Maybe I need it.
It was the Celestine. Sorry, I didn't listen to the podcast of it. It was the Celestine Prophecy, which is my favorite book, and that led me listening into more of like Hay House audio podcast.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Well, they would. Hay House would have podcasts.
They're not. Book and Hay House aren't connected, but it was just the connection, the natural connection for me. So they've got their own app and all their authors talking about whatever the topic is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never heard of Hay House, and then you just hear it everywhere. Are they Australian?
No, it was. So I think they're based in the UK. So Louise L. Hay, like the Queen of Affirmations, she was from the US. So I don't know if the company is actually based in the US or based in the UK.
This is kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I feel like they're British, but not. But
there's
a really good one that I listened to. Emma Mumford. She's like the manifestation queen. And like I binged her. I drove from Darwin to Broome and I binged the shit, like literally listened to like probably 200 episodes. But she's with Hay House, so she did something with Hay House. And it just since then I'm like, that's all I can hear.
Oh wow, how interesting is that? Yeah, I love the Hay House authors. It's spiritual, personal development, sort of stuff. So that was my flow.
That's cool. That's a good flow. Okay, I feel like I might leave that in. So hello listeners. That was a good chat. Welcome, Carla, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
This is so awesome. This feels so good. Okay. I had so much I wanted to say, thank you for being here. I'm so happy we connected after Empire Mastery. This is amazing. You're like my favorite hype girl. That's just it. So grateful for your energy. And, like I said earlier, I don't know if that was recorded. Thank you for everything in the DMs. So beautiful. All that love. And I just couldn't believe the wild journey you shared and the healing journey that you've been on. And you shared a little bit about it when we originally connected, but my gosh, I can't wait. The listeners are in for a deep one. But what I like to start with, as usual, so I typically ask my guests to start where they're at now in their story, business and life wise, but like, what are you up to nowadays? And like, what is it feeling?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a real honor to, for someone to notice you and take a genuine interest in you and your story. So thank you. And hey, listeners, I hope you all take something away from this story. So where I'm at right now is I'm still on the healing journey. Healing is not linear. Business and entrepreneurship is not linear. It's, like that.
Yeah,
And it's a real process. So I'm thriving. And although still got maybe a long way to go, maybe a little way to go, I don't really know how long it's going to take, but I'm so committed to what I'm doing because I can see what my future is starting to come together. My vision board, everything that I mentally rehearse is coming to life. And so I'm so committed to the healing journey. So I'm good. Right now, I can go to the gym, I can play with my son, I can do all the normal things. It does still take a bit out of me, but I'm functioning. I've got quality of life, which is what I didn't have before. And in business, my business has now got to a place where I've increased the revenue. I'm getting like consistent sales, and I've got partnerships and collaborations, and people want to work with me. And the brand of the business has grown so much. And that's just from me showing up. So I'm at the point where people can recognize me and my business. And also I've just started a new business building tiny homes, which is awesome. So starting a new business from scratch, building that up, it's really exciting. I love that part of it. I love that stage. I love being the visionary and the creative and all those fun things. I have to take regular breaks and make sure I have my boundaries, and I do that for myself. So if I burn out, then I can't be a mum. I can't be a good partner. I can't be a good businesswoman. I can't be a good business partner. So it's really important that self-care is woven into my routine of business and life.
It's so important. It's important for everyone, but definitely with what you've gone through. But that sounds really, really good. You sound like you're on a really up kind of direction. That's what we want. Amazing. So what is the business currently that you're in, or the empire that you're currently in, other than your tiny home?
Yeah, so the business I started 3 years ago is called Eagle and Owl. And my first product that I created was the Conscious Kids affirmation cards.
Oh.
And I created this because I just thought there's no parenting manual for starters, but there's no tool that a parent can use to holistically educate their child of the whole mind, body, and spirit. We feed our children, give them shelter, clothing, social interactions, movement, exercise, and those are all the necessities to survive. But there's one thing we're missing to help any human thrive, and that's understanding the mind, understanding how it works, understanding the power of our minds and what we're capable of. And so when I created this business, I thought it has to be more than just an affirmation, because it doesn't have context. How is a kid going to believe it? It just looks like a few words on a piece of paper, which is pretty silly. So through my own healing process, I learned a lot about energy and our chakra system, so the wheels of energy in our body. And I also discovered that the world has the same chakra system that mimics the ones in our bodies. And so I've put all that into the one thing. So children get to learn about themselves from the inside out. They get to learn about geography and animals and the spirit of animals. So what your spirit animal is, or your power animal is. So I got a question for you. If you were an animal, what would you be?
My gosh. First thing that comes to mind. Yep. It's sad. It's always a panda, but like I feel like that's just association of people used to call me my sister used to call me Manda Panda.
Oh, well, that's probably for a reason. I need to have a look at what the symbolism of that animal means. That's so beautiful. And I can see that, because you're kind of like, you feel like a big warm cuddle, like being in your energy, being in your presence. That's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I wish I was like a lion or something, but I feel like
I
it is
think
the
that's what
cuddly
everyone
energy.
wants. They want like what's a really cool animal? But I think even the most smallest of creatures always have a place and a purpose, and it's what we can learn from those animals and pull that into our life. So helping children connect with animals is so important, because nature always has a message for you. And I called the business Eagle and Owl. I didn't know better how to name a business, but secondly, my spirit animal is an eagle. I saw it everywhere. And even when I looked back through all my things that I've, collected on my travels through life, I found these two things I got from Hawaii, and one of them was a little box, a dream box with an eagle on it, and an eagle keyring and an eagle t-shirt. And then I just started to see eagles everywhere. I'd turn on the TV for my son, and an eagle noise would come across the screen, or
Wow.
I would scroll Instagram and someone would be drawing a picture of an eagle, or Eagle FM on the radio when I'm driving to the snowy mountains. Like, eagle pops up everywhere. And so once I learned about what that meant for me and what the messages were, and then I understood that that's my guidance. It's what the animal symbolizes for me, which is freedom, the drive to see things from a higher perspective. And then the owl is the day and night, so the balance, like the yin and yang. And in my partner, his culture, in the Māori culture, an owl is symbolic for their family. So it's like, if you see or hear an owl, it's like an ancestor that's there letting you know that they're in your presence and protecting you and guiding you.
It's beautiful.
So I love that. Like, everything needs that beautiful harmonious balance. And owls, the mystery and the magic of nightfall and the full moon, it's so awesome. So yeah, that was my mission, to take an affirmation card, which is quite boring, and create it into something that children can learn to grow with at any age and any stage of life. It's like it's a keepsake. You can, put it in your pocket, take it everywhere with you. And there's so much to learn from it, so much to learn about yourself from the inside out.
That's beautiful. I feel like as an adult, I would like to see these cards and have a bunch of them.
I do have adults buy them too. And my grandmother uses them.
Oh, I love it. I've always been fascinated by the whole spirit animal thing and owls. I was literally talking about owls yesterday. A long time ago, I saw a video where they filmed an owl fly and it made zero sound. Like, they had all these like microphones around it, zero sound. It's like, so
incredible.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, nature is so amazing. And when you take the time to stop and think about how that relates to your life, it's really powerful. It's awesome.
Yeah. I love your story about the eagles. I'm thinking about my panda thing, and I'm like, so all I want to do is like sit around and eat. And it's so beautiful. It's okay.
I just watched a panda video yesterday, which is really random because I don't scroll through Facebook, but my mum sent it to me. She's like, watch this thing on pandas. And I did. And I was like, wow, they're actually such joyful little things. They love to have a play. They love to make their life enjoyable. That's what I got out of it. So I'll have to check my books and let you know exactly what the panda represents.
Yeah, okay. Please. That actually feels really like resonant. Like, yeah, I like to make life enjoyable and just add play to anything. I feel like my partner always says that too. Like, it's just like, you're always just happy and joyful through everything. I'm like, oh, that's good.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. All right, I'm the happy squishy panda.
It's nice to be happy, and that's infectious. You make everyone around you and everyone that comes into contact with you happy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I feel like that's only recently come out, like really like full on, like noticeable. I don't know. So thank you. Beautiful. So the affirmation cards part of Eagle and Owl, and then so you have the tiny home business. Are those the two businesses that you're running currently?
They're the two ones that I'm running currently, and I am about to purchase a new business that I can't talk about right now because it's on an NDA. But building my empire, acquiring businesses that are already operating and under management. So I had 3 that I started with that I was looking at and going through the process. And, sometimes you just have to say, no, this isn't the right time for me, even though really important not to get emotionally attached to things. And I as fast as I want to build my empire, I know I need to be strategic and do it properly. So it's so close to getting this one over the line. Just going to make sure that, all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the plan is to just keep expanding the 2 businesses and keep on acquiring other businesses as we go building our empire.
Cool. Yeah, that's kind of where my plan is. Like, have the fun and enjoy our own business kind of base, and then just have other businesses to acquire. I might even step out of mine and turn it into a 3. Wait for that. But
Very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited, and like I wish you so much luck on this deal that we don't talk about. So exciting. So you haven't done it before? You haven't actually gone through with purchasing another one before?
Yes, I have. I was so close to purchasing one last year, and then I found out something shady with the real estate agent for the lease. So I thought, this is going to backfire on us so bad if we go into this, because they had this agreement through COVID, which worked in their favor. But then if I took over, it would not work in my favor. And I thought, this feels so wrong. And it was, we were just there. So I'm glad we picked up on that. And it didn't work out. I'm glad the university supporting me and having my back. And I was so emotionally invested in it. I wanted it to be my first business I bought. I wanted it to, I wanted to kind of show off about it. I guess I was so excited that done that process by myself. And then I was like, oh, that's actually really stupid. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. And I'm just really glad that it turned out the way it did, because it wasn't the right business for us.
That's great.
But then, I've still been going through the motions. I still am open to opportunities, and I will follow the process. But we just want to get the quickest way to a no. And if it's a no straight away, we're not wasting our time moving forward with something that is just not going to work out for us anyway. So that's what Aaron Sensorani teaches us. You want the quickest way, when you want to find out the quickest way to a no, instead of spending so much money and then you find out that there's a lot of shit wrong with the business. The numbers aren't right. So there is a proper process to follow, and it works when you do it properly.
Yeah, that's great. I never picked up on that one, the quickest way to a no. That's genius. I'm gonna have to definitely remember that.
Yes, right. And it actually applies to everything. You don't want to have a carrot dangling in front of you all the time, whatever it might be. If it's a no, it's a no. Great. I'll move on to the next thing. And I've started to apply that to a lot of things in my life. And I'm like, wow, there I am, not putting too much energy and emotion to things that aren't even relevant and not meant for me. So it's a really good way to start to approach things. And it's not a negative thing. It's an understanding of, no, not right for me, move on.
Yeah, no, I really like that, because we typically kind of waste our time being like, okay, well, we could make it work in this way, and then back and forth, and you just because you emotionally really want it to be yes, or your ego's driving you, which it happens. Even the most in tune person does that still. But that's a really good way to snap out of that. And that makes sense. Why kind of they have that indifference, people that already have their massive empires. They just have that really indifferent approach, and we're all like, oh, but they definitely got it right. Can you imagine if they emotionally invested in everything that they did, because they do so much in every day? I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Exactly. It's so draining. When do you find time to sleep? Because it sucks so much out of you when you invest your emotions in the wrong way and on the wrong thing. So no one would grow that fast if they did, actually.
Yeah, I agree. How long have you been learning about the Empire Mastery?
It's been 12 months.
Okay. Are you in any of like EC or any of those?
Yeah, I'm in the Empire Circle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Wasn't sure. Like I figured. Wasn't sure. That's so epic. One day I
Yeah,
will join you in there.
I can say it was the best 12 months of my life. So my membership is coming to an end now, and it's at that point where, do I sign up again? Do, you know, as Aaron teaches us, there's piles, patches, and pits with the money. And when you make more money, you need to keep reinvesting it into your businesses. So although my affirmation cards has grown, I'm putting more money in it. So then I'm into a pit right now. And then with the new tiny homes business, putting capital into that with all the things we need to do to get that where it needs to be. So I'm at this point where I'm like, do I re-sign up? Why am I there? And I had to really think about why I was going to do it a second time. And like, am I just there for the people because I love them so?
Yeah.
People are the part of the journey. Like, they have lifted me up when I felt utterly defeated. They have, you know, guided me and supported me and kept me accountable without judgment. They have, you know, celebrated my wins with me, big or small, along the way. I do put this in the same category as parenting. Like, it does take a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to raise your business, to grow your business, because you do need that support around you. Like, apart from the amazing things that you learn, it did take me a good year to absorb everything. And now I can do way more this year, because there was a lot of blocks that I didn't even know I had, that I had to figure out first. But I never would have figured it out if I didn't go through this process. So it was a really interesting, like, learning experience for me. I've absorbed so much from I've grown, my businesses have grown, and, you know, it's an option to go down to some of the lower level programs just to still be involved, still be connected, still keep on learning. And they have different offerings as well to the Empire Circle. But yeah, if, you know, we'll sit down with our business partner today, and if it's not the right time, it's not the right time. And, you know, we can go back when the time is right. And I think that's another big thing of not comparing myself and my journey to anyone else's, because we are all at different stages of business, of our personal development, of our, you know, business knowledge through experience. And I know that I taught so many people so many different things that they didn't know. So I had something to offer everyone as well. So it was the most incredible experience. But for me personally, I had to work through my own blocks of limiting beliefs that I had made up myself, and stuff that I've been telling myself, you know, my whole life, which it takes a while to undo all of that. But it was the best thing, because I'm not the same person I was 12 months ago.
Oh, sounds so good. And it sounds like what we were talking about with books and stuff, it found you at the right time and got a chance to pick you up at the right time.
Absolutely. And I was really scared of making that commitment, because I'd never done anything like that before.
It's huge. I think that's a big part of it too, like why it's such a huge commitment, like to really, that's like the first challenge. Yeah. The last 12 months, like, was that strictly like business you're working through and personal beliefs and stuff, not just like, or was it more healing as well?
It was both. And it was really difficult, because this time exactly 12 months ago, my health was in a very, very bad, different place to what it is right now. So I don't want to use the word combat, but I felt like I was in combat with, like, my health and business, and it was a lot. And I've got to be a mother, and I've got to be a partner, and it just felt like an absolute shit fight at first. I said, I don't know how to balance it. And then Aaron taught me it's not about balance, it's blending. It's blending everything into your life. And I signed up because I was ready for it, even though I was so scared of the monetary commitment, the time. was like, my mum doesn't live close by. Who's going to look after my son with all these things I have to go to, all these events? And it was really, really frightening. And I was doing it out of fear for what happens if I leave this world too soon? How am I going to teach my son? Who's going to look after him even though his dad's around? His dad's here. I'm like, no one can look after your child as good as the mum can. And these were my thoughts. And I thought, what's my legacy? Like, how will everyone remember me? And I was doing it from a place of massive fear. And through the course of time, maybe only 6 months into it, I realized that everything I was doing was out of fear, which is the wrong energy to go into something with. So I would exercise and eat organic because I was scared of being sick. I was scared of it happening again. I just wanted to be healthy. But now I eat my organic food because I love the way it makes my body feel. I have my amazing sleep routine because I love waking up feeling energized. I love doing my qigong because I love the way it makes my body feel and helps me generate my energy. So, and then I learned, I love that I'm doing my business because of the fulfillment it gives me to help people all over the world. And once I had that shift of everything, I was like, I need to do things out of love for myself, love for the planet, love for people, love for my life, not out of fear. And once I had that shift, everything started to change even more rapidly than it already was being involved in the Empire Circle program.
That's so powerful. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Isn't it like we have to start things with fear or with some like kind of the wrong intention sometimes to actually find out like it could be different. Like we've started the good things, but they're not really working still because we're not really on board in a weird way.
Yeah, and that's Aaron talks a little about being congruent with like your thoughts, your actions, your behavior. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I was like, oh, got to be healthy, got to do this to be healthy, got to do this so my son has something to remember me by. And, the first breakthrough day, the things I wrote down were quite sad. And then as I went on to like my third and fourth Empire Mastery, my fears were starting to diminish. I had conquered so many of them. And you need that fear kind of to start, you do. But once you can conquer those things and reframe everything, life changes so much in your favor, and it makes way for more beautiful things to flow into your life. Really cool. It was so much fun to have that light bulb moment.
Yeah. And how kind of you got like a chance to check in along the way because you were in this whole thing and you got to really like be like, oh, it actually changed everything he set up. And like I just feel like it's so awesome how much he can hold like space for other people, like so many other people, and like how he was able to just give you those insights too and just personally kind of be there for that. I cannot believe like your energy right now is so like grounded and all of that. I can't believe that just 12 months ago you were in chaos.
Yeah, no one believe it. And the thing is, I was actually talking to my mum about this the other day. I thought, if I tried so hard to act normal, and if I didn't act normal and convince myself that I was okay, I wouldn't be standing. Do you know what I mean? Because I know cliche, but where your attention goes, that's where you're directing your energy. So if I'm focusing on being unwell, then I'm going to be unwell. I'm going to be stuck in a bed. And so I tried so hard to act normal. No one knew there was anything wrong with me. A lot of people could question, like, they're like, are you okay? Because I was always holding my head up and I felt like my head wanted to fall off, how long those days are. And I just pushed through it. And it was so challenging. But every day I gave myself like a pat on the back. I was like, you did it. You got through this day. Well done. It was just, step by step by step. And I just had to act normal, which I think has worked in my favor this whole time. I was really embarrassed about not what I looked like, but what had happened to me. And so I didn't actually want anyone to know at the start because I was so embarrassed. And that's one of my biggest fears, being embarrassed. And I would act so normal because I didn't want anyone to know. And that worked in my favor with my healing. But again, there was nothing to be embarrassed about. It was so silly.
Yeah, definitely not. And nothing to be embarrassed about. I was kind of reflecting on something similar. Just like even little parts of your story, we just don't want to share them. And just why are we like that? I don't know. Even when you think you're just such an open person and you're an open book and you're like, but I'm gonna hide these things and don't know why, just for embarrassment, just for a little bit of ego. And but that's okay. It is interesting how, like, yeah, you kind of have to embody being the healthy person. Or it is that other cliche of like, fake it till you make it. Like, why is that so ingrained in humanity? Like, you really do need to focus your energy on the way you want to be and embody things. Like, even what we learned with Erin, embody it before you are it. And that's like the only way to do anything. So
Yeah.
and you can frame it as like you're lying to yourself or lying to other people, but at the same time, like, it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I choose to think of it as embodying. I was stepping into that person that I wanted to keep on becoming. And I've unlocked so many levels within myself on this short 12-month journey. But yeah, I choose to say I'm not faking it. I choose to say I'm embodying.
I definitely don't think anyone's faking it, but that expression is like, the negative twist on it.
Yeah.
I do think it's still like, it's very true, and it's like, it is powerful. You can use that one to get through a hard day. Yeah, it's wild. Okay, so let's let the cat out of the bag. So if you want to tell kind of like your timeline of what happened and all of that, we'll dig into it.
Yeah, let's dig in. So the year was 2020. It was a wonderful year for all of us. You had a lot of change and challenges in that year. So I was actually in Bali at the beginning of the year with my family. My mum's friend jumped on board to the holiday. She's like, yep, family holiday, let's all go. My son had just turned 1, and my stepdaughter, I think she was 6 at the time. So I actually felt really unwell, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then it was New Year's Eve, and I should say the end of 2019. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. It was like 6 o'clock. Mum's like, why don't you two go out for dinner? And she's like, I'll have the kids. I'm like, okay, let's do that. We never get to do that sort of thing. So we went and found a really cute little rooftop bar. It had fairy lights, live music. I was like, this is awesome. Now, I didn't drink. I stopped drinking alcohol. I was phasing out of it. And then I got pregnant and didn't want to drink. First year of motherhood, wasn't interested. And so I had like my first drink that night. I had a sip of an espresso martini, and I couldn't see. My body was on fire. I couldn't talk. And I thought my drink had been spiked. My partner drank it to prove that it wasn't spiked, and he was all good. So we somehow made it back to the hotel. It was a horrendous night, not knowing what was wrong with me. And we flew back to Australia the next day. So got home, went straight to the hospital, and I said, there's something wrong with my brain. I can't walk properly. I couldn't really speak. And they're like, no, you're dehydrated. You've just been in Bali. You've probably got Bali belly. And I said, no, there's something wrong with my brain. Anyway, get sent home. And then I went to the emergency department 5 times. I went to 4 different GPs, and everyone could see I couldn't walk properly. I actually couldn't hold my son because I had no balance. It felt like the most severe vertigo. So I was like spinning like that and like that and like that, and it didn't stop. The feeling in my head and my body came on, and it never went away. And it was debilitating. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't lie down. It was excruciating. the discomfort turned into this intense pain. And so on the 5th visit to the emergency department, I made a scene. I was sitting there for 3 hours waiting for the catheter. I had an IV, the pole. No one had come to see me. So I threw it and I screamed. And then finally a doctor came to see me, gave me a referral for an MRI. So I'd been back from Bali for 5 weeks. No one was listening to me. Had to wait 4 more weeks for the referral to get my MRI. And it was a Saturday. And the lady said, call your doctor on Monday, make an appointment for the end of the week because it'll take a while to do the report. I said, okay. I was shitting myself because I'm claustrophobic. I had to have an MRI. I had to be on my own. And someone was looking after my son for me. My partner was at work. My mum was down at her place, which is 5 hours from Sydney in the Snowy Mountains. And she was battling the bushfires, like trying to save her house. So it was just a real chaotic time. And my doctor called me on the Monday morning and she's like, you need to come in right now. I was like, oh no. I thought the worst, do I have cancer in my brain and I'm going to die? So I called my partner, he left work, came to the doctors with me, and she told me that I had had a stroke. And the problem is, because of the time period that had elapsed, 9 weeks from the inception of when the symptoms came on and never went away, they couldn't determine if it was a current stroke or if it happened 6 months ago, a year ago. And I said, what do you mean? So my report said, and she said, the area of your brain, the part of your brain that's died is your cerebellum. I thought, oh my God, my brain's dead. I'm brain damaged. Like the way they deliver these messages.
Yeah.
It was so horrible. I thought the worst. And then I just remember everything kind of just like this numbness overcame me. And I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? I'm dying. My son, he's only 1. And then, so the part of my brain that was affected was the cerebellum, which controls your muscle coordination and movements, like the sense of where everything is in your body and your balance. I had no balance. It was vertigo. So that corresponds with the symptoms I was experiencing, corresponds with the part of the brain that was affected. And so then the real fun began. And I had to go, I was admitted to hospital. I was there for a week on my own. I had to go to the acute stroke ward, and I was with like a truck driver, Clive, and Daphne, this like 90-year-old, and they became my friends. They were really supportive. They're like, oh, you're so young. You're so young. Like, I know. I had to go get another MRI and be transported to another hospital to do my back. They're like, you've got MS. You need to have a lumbar puncture. It's just the worst case scenario being thrown at you all the time. And I was like, fuck, I'm actually dying. I've got MS. I've got every single thing under the sun wrong with me. That's what they're telling me. And so I met my neurologist, and he was trying to find a virus, and I had to do all these tests. They were making me walk. I was falling over. I couldn't stand straight, but I remember I was trying so hard. And at the end, I finally started to get my steps, my feet, one in front of the other. And I was like trying. I was like, please do it, Carla. Please do it, Carla. Because I didn't want to be in the hospital anymore. It scared the shit out of me. And so they discharged me because like, oh, you can walk. You're fine. Anyway, so throughout that process, that neurologist, I had every test under the sun done and everything was fine. And his conclusion was, you can't cope with motherhood. You can't cope being a mum.
Wow.
I'm not tired. I've got a supportive partner. I've got family. They might not be around me, but like I'm well supported. And my partner, I could see the steam coming out of his ears. He was ready to... he just wanted to, like, how dare you say that and imply that that's what the problem is when you've got the proof of the MRI, the effects that I was experiencing directly match that. So it was a real like kick in the face again for a professional to not believe what had happened. So anyway, I ended up seeing 10 different neurologists over the course of the next few months, and I had to pay for some privately because the wait list is quite long. And I also saw a few different GPs. So once the bushfires had settled down, the roads were open, my partner said, let's go down to your mum's, get some R&R, get some help with our son. So he still needed to work to support us. And I saw a few different doctors down there. One of the doctors, one of the GPs, was actually the head neurosurgeon for one of the top hospitals in Sydney, but he was retiring and moved down, wanted a bit of a simpler life. He didn't want to be the head of the neurology department anymore. And he said, Carla, are you on the contraceptive pill? I said, I was. I stopped taking it. I said, because it made me feel terrible. I said, I actually took it for a month and then this happened. He said, did you fly? I said, I was in Bali when it happened. He's like, there's no doubt about it. He's like, the pill has caused this. Now, what's really interesting is I took the pill once when I was a teenager. It helped with period pain. I don't even know why we take it. I never did my own research because I always trusted the doctors. And then after I had my son, I was reading this book on Ayurveda and another one about the brain and the gut and I started reading all these books because I thought I feel so tired, and I know it's not just because I have a child. Something's not right. And part of this book I read was it had a big chapter about the contraceptive pill, how it's carcinogenic for the body. They stopped trials years ago because women were dying of cancer. And I actually read this chapter, but my GP at the time kept chipping away. You know, you got to get on the pill, or do you want the rod? Do you want the Mirena? I said, I don't want anything in my body. She's like, you know, you can't have a baby so soon. I said, what's it to you? And don't worry, there's no way. My partner's even touching me with a 10-foot pole. But she chipped away at me every visit I had to the doctor. And I ended up walking away with a prescription one day, got it, started taking it. Because I was like, okay. And I said to her, I was like, how do you know this is the right pill for me? I was like, do we need to do blood tests? She's like, oh, you've been on it before. I said, yeah, I was a teenager. My hormones have completely changed now. You know, I'm a different person now. She's like, no, it's pretty generic. You'll be fine. And I even read in the book, once you hit 30 and beyond, the risk of a stroke is a lot higher. So I read this chapter in this book before this happened. And I knew I didn't want to go on the pill, but I did it anyway. I didn't listen to my body. I didn't listen to my intuition telling me, don't do it. And then I had a stroke. So out of all the doctors I saw, 5 agreed with me, pill, flying. Because flying, even though there's pressure in the cabin, you know, it's pressurized, the different air pressure can dislodge a clot and still cause a stroke. So there was no doubt about it. And then the other 5 that were in Sydney and only wanted to follow the textbook, and because I didn't want to agree with them, they chose not. They're like, well, we can't help you. And I said to one neurologist, she's like, tell me about your headaches. I said, I don't get headaches. She said, tell me about your headaches when you're a teenager. I said, I've never suffered from headaches. She's like, well, what you've got is migraine. She's like, migraines come in different ways, different forms. I said, okay, I can understand that. I was like, but it's not that there's something wrong with my brain. I can feel it. I can't walk properly. I can't hold my son. There's something else that's wrong. And so it was so disappointing to not have that support. I said, should I sleep on a pillow? Should I sleep lying down? Should I sit upright? What should I do? And she said, Carla, all I do is prescribe pills. I said, what? I said, can't you suggest any other things that I can do to support my body? She said, I can give you some pills and that's it. I was like, but what? I said, F you, and I hung up the phone. And so then the pandemic hit and I was on my own to figure out what to do, how to heal. So I had spent a lot of money testing alternative therapies, as we call it, acupuncture, reflexology, hyperbaric oxygen chambers. And when the first lockdown was gone and we were to be able to get back to the gym, I did Pilates and yoga every day for 5 months straight. So I was falling off the reform machine because I had no balance. I was crying. I was doing yoga and I couldn't bend my head over, but I was pushing myself to do it. It was so difficult for me to do that. And I taught myself how to balance again. And when I realized after those 5 months that I could actually stand straight, I thought, holy shit, I'm the one that's healed myself. I haven't had a single pharmaceutical. I haven't had any help from anyone. I was like, I'm the one that has done this. I'm the one that, and I started to research the brain and neuroscience and how to support my systems of my body. And that was like, holy fuck moment. I'm the one that has healed. No one's done it for me. So once I had unlocked the power of my mind and what we are capable of, everything changed for me. That was a really long story.
It's amazing. Just like feeling all of it. Holy shit. Holy shit. I am so happy that you were able to heal yourself. And like, I don't know why we're surprised about that though, but at the same time, you know, after everything we learn, like that in the end, that's the only thing that heals anyone. Fuck yeah, Carla, you did it.
Broken bone, yeah, you might get a cast, that's on the outside, but who actually mends the inside?
Yeah.
Like that's the innate intelligence of your own body and your skin. When you have a cut on it, it's your own body that mends it. And once I just started to look at everything so differently, I was like, oh my God, I'm so powerful. Like I've done this. There hasn't been anyone else to support me. And it wasn't as easy as a process as I've made this sound. There was panic attacks in between. I was, you know, at home with my son who I gave him a little like 1 by 1 meter, cornered him off because I had to lie down. I was lying down, like changing his nappies. It was really difficult to do that, to go through this process. And then my thoughts would start to spiral out of control. Like, what does this stroke mean? Am I going to die? Is this going to happen again? And I would panic so bad, I would almost stop breathing. I was like, shit, this is not safe when I'm stuck at home with my 1-year-old. This is, you know, during all the lockdowns, and my partner was in construction, so he still got to go to work and have some fresh air. But yeah, it came with a lot of struggle and it was torture. It was really debilitating, but I started to read more and more books because my eyes were damaged in the stroke. So I couldn't see properly. I couldn't look at a screen. Artificial light hurt me. I had to protect my eyes a lot. So I read books and I listened to podcasts. And if it weren't for other people sharing their story, I wouldn't have gotten this far. So I found Dr. Joe Dispenza. And do you know who he is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You listen to his story, how he healed from his accident. So I started to search for people that had healed from all different sorts of ailments and diseases. And then I stopped listening to them and I started to search healthy people. Like, what makes them successfully healthy? And I started to listen to learn off them what they were doing. So I knew that it was possible to heal without allopathic medicine. And 2, I was like, I need to start doing what all these healthy people are doing. I need to listen to them. Why are they sick? Why don't they break bones? Why doesn't heart attack, stroke, or anything like that happen to them? And our lifestyle changed. We did everything as a family unit. It wasn't, my partner wasn't doing it because he had to do it because I forced him to. He started to support me, but then he enjoyed the changes as well that we were making. We would do yoga at night together. We would, it came with a lot of tears. I cried every day for about 18 months straight. But the changes that we started to bring into our lives became a lifestyle choice. And it was so awesome to be able to do this as a family unit together. It was one of my biggest achievements as a family.
Oh, the outcome sounds really lovely. And the smile on your face while you were saying that's so nice. That's incredible. I love that you did it and like changed it as a lifestyle change. Like that's what we need to do. Was your lifestyle like very different before, or did you have to change a lot?
Yes and no. So before I even started a business, I was working for Virgin Australia. Before that, I worked in the world of the fashion industry for a long time, and it felt so wrong and unethical, and it always, knocked on my moral compass. What I was doing didn't feel right. So I wanted a mind-numbing job, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go work for an airline. And I was ground crew at Sydney International Airport, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love traveling. I love being at the airport. I love the vibe. I love the international terminal. It was so much fun. I loved that job so much, and I learned so much from it as well. But it was shift work. So I would work as hard as I could doing double shifts. So that means up at 3 o'clock in the morning, back at 11, 12 o'clock at night. And that is really unhealthy for your body. So I believe, and then in my time off, my roster, 3 days, boom, I'd go somewhere, barely any sleep, come back, get straight back into work, or I'd go overseas and I would have fun. I think one year I went to Mexico, Miami, Vegas, Cuba, Cook Islands twice. I did so much fun. I was burning the candle at both ends, and I did enjoy drinking and having fun then. And I know that I just had really poor quality sleep. So I know that those layers of the stress I was putting on my body was building. I've only learned that because I had to learn about stress. I had to learn about cortisol and what it does to the body. So, but as I started to, get into my third, fourth year of working at the airport, I couldn't go out and have fun, and I wasn't interested anymore. I just wanted to travel and see the world. So I wasn't interested in going out drinking with everyone. And I started to really transition out of that. And because I didn't want to go out, I wanted to work. I didn't want to call in sick and be that person. And that was the start of it. But I've always enjoyed eating healthy. But again, this was a whole mindset shift. I was like, oh, a salad's healthy, which it is healthy. I would smash myself at the gym with a really hard hit class. And then I learned that that's sort of not, and I did that because that's what people told me to do. And I was quite ignorant. I wouldn't do research for myself. So I learned how to do exercise that was right for my body for the season that I was in. So, when the stroke happened, Pilates and yoga suited my body so much rather than a HIIT workout class. And I would do things that didn't make my body feel good because that's what was healthy. And, a salad, I learned a lot about Ayurveda and my constitution and how to support my body with the food and how I nurture it, how I look after it. And a salad isn't good for me during the winter time. So I need to have cooked vegetables to help it digest properly. So once I started to learn about my body and myself post-stroke, I could see, looking backwards, I could connect the dots. I could see everything that I'd been doing to get to this point. So whilst my lifestyle wasn't too different, I've always enjoyed eating healthy. Again, I could see I was doing it for the wrong reasons and not having intention. I wasn't doing things with the right intention because I didn't know any better. I just thought intention was a woo-woo word that people said. So I was going to the gym to be fit, not and look good. But I go to the gym now, and the different sorts of classes I do is because it makes me feel good internally. And if I look good, that's an absolute bonus. So my lifestyle, it changed in the sense of we started to eat organic together. My partner knew that I did Qigong in the morning, and he would support my routines. And then whatever he needed, I would support him for that. So we would eat dinner at 5 o'clock, no TV, because we started practicing mindful eating, intentional eating. And we would, prepare our meals together. We would go for walks after dinner together, and just those little habits together, effort compounds, and all that compounded into these beautiful lifestyle choices that we made.
Mm-hmm.
And it enhanced our life as a family together, even though we were on the toughest journey there possibly could have been for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe like you cried like for 18 months every day. My heart goes out to you. And just like, looking at you, no one would know that that's something you've gone through. And just thank you for sharing, first of all. It sounds really like, you were just living like everyone else before. You weren't living like anything hectic, but people just push themselves for so long without any second thoughts on it, and just they wind up in these situations and they don't know why. So sad. I used to work in like shifts too in like hotels, and the airlines are the best and like so good, but yeah, it just breaks your body and your spirit and your soul, and you just don't even know why.
It does. It does.
Wow. It sounds like you've really found your intuition. Is there anything that like really helped you find that specifically, like tuning into that?
Affirmations. So
Yes.
because I had to, meditation helped me to quiet the mind, but then I learned how to quiet my mind, or more, not be without a thought, but to process things so I wasn't stuck in this vicious cycle of these nasty thoughts, going around and around. So I learned how to start to control my mind, and I learnt how to reprogram my thoughts using affirmations. So I taught myself how to remove the negative thought, how to replace it with the positive one. And there were little things I did, like if I could feel the negative thoughts coming on, I'd look up to the stars, look up to the sky, and you actually can't think of a negative thought when you look up. And so I would stop, look up. That would be like my pattern interrupt, and I would reframe it and put something new in there. If I'd be like, fuck, I think I'm dying, be like, I am healthy, I am safe. And the biggest thing that I kept telling myself over and over is that I was safe. When you feel safe, everything is actually okay. So I learned a lot about the mind through researching neuroscience, and combined that with Louise L. Hay, the Queen of Affirmations. I started to create my own script for myself. I wrote Post-it notes all over the house, on the fridge. I wrote on the bathroom mirror. I had things stuck on the wardrobe in the bedroom, on the walls, in the front door. I had reminders everywhere. On my phone, I would set reminders. Well, my partner would help me because I couldn't look at my phone properly. And I had alarms that would go off so I could glance off it, and it was an affirmation reminder. So I was saying this specific script to myself over and over again throughout the day. And it's really hard to break a bad habit as an adult, as opposed to creating a positive habit as a child, because I learned a lot about our brainwaves, and I learned that I had to access the theta brainwave state, which is just before you fall asleep and just as you wake up in the morning. So I trained myself to say my affirmations as I was falling asleep. And even if I'd have to get up through the night to go pee, I programmed myself to say those affirmations as I would go to the bathroom and back to bed and back to sleep. And I started to believe it. I started to believe that I was healthy, that I was going to be okay, that I was going to make a full recovery, that I had made a recovery. I am healthy. I am healed. I had to affirm it in the present tense as if it's already happened, like embodying that the next level of myself that I wanted to become. And that was the number one thing that changed everything. And my partner actually said, what are you doing? Even though he could see shit all over the house, typical male, didn't read everything, but he's like, she's letting me do my thing. And I said, I'm doing affirmations. And so we sat down and we spoke about it, and he could see my transformation. He was like, you've got to keep doing it. This is working. He could see my behavior, my body language, everything. He could see me transforming into something completely different. And the best part is that because we'd made these lifestyle choices together, not that he was saying affirmations, but he was along for the ride. So we were just elevating together. So that was my number one thing that changed my whole world for me, being in control of my thoughts.
Oh my gosh. I've just been like talking about affirmations too. They're like life-changing. I'm so glad that they helped you. I have them everywhere. You're describing my house with the post-it note situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I been changing, like, money minds, all of that stuff. And I feel like affirmations, you like find one that like resonates with you, and you use it and use it. And then sometimes it's like you're done with that one. Like it's like it's completed and you're like, I only have to change it up and another one has to come with me now. It's so interesting. Oh, I'm so glad they helped you that much.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
yeah. And your partner's not on board. My partner's the same. He hasn't even read any of mine. Whatever. At least they're so supportive and lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Holy shit. I'm actually like making affirmation stickers. PS. So like, you want any? Happily make you
Send them
one.
my way, always.
What was your main one? So what I want to do, especially I'm just going to mention it because I want to like give affirmations from like people specifically. Like my friend has given me one of hers, and like I would love, I don't know if yours applies, but to share one that has really been life-changing specifically for you.
Yeah, well, I had to keep them simple to believe them straight away. So I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm protected. I said that over and over and over again. And then as I got to develop my affirmation script, it was every cell in my body radiates in perfect health.
Beautiful.
Those are the main ones for me.
Yeah, that really like vibrate through my body. Yes. So good. How the words just like give you that like energy. I feel like you just already feel that energy. It's beautiful. And the one you mentioned about being safe, like so important. You're just kind of disabling that fight or flight response. That's kind of like, I feel like where all the sickness comes. It is the fight or flight mode, kind of the monkey brain. the
Yeah.
disabling
Well,
that is important.
sorry, we're not taught how to deal with stress. Everyone's like, yeah, stress is the killer, the silent killer, you can't see it. And I think we need to take that more seriously. And we don't know what to do for ourselves when we are stressed, or we don't know how to wind down properly. And, binging on Netflix is not going to help you. It's not going to help your circadian rhythm at night and get that good quality of sleep that you need for rest and rejuvenation. So we're talking about stress and helping people understand why it's so important to actually do things for yourself. Take that self-care, go get a massage, go spend that money on yourself, or just sit in the car for 5 minutes or watch a candle flicker. Like that stuff is so important to get back into homeostasis and get back into the parasympathetic state. And I don't think anyone takes it serious enough, because you always think, it won't happen to me. So I think educating people around that. Have I gone off topic?
No, it's beautiful. Go ahead. I'm so intrigued by this stuff. And parasympathetic nervous system, like topics are my thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, just understanding the nervous system. And I learned a lot about the vagus nerve and how to support that. And saying affirmations, meditating, even gargling strengthens and tones the vagus nerve. But I don't think people do know about it, but we just don't take it seriously enough, because I think we're just forced in this society to keep doing what we've always been doing. And so it's really important to keep getting this message out there to take care of yourself from the inside out as well, because then you get to, I don't know, let's just say 50, 60 years old, and you've had a random heart attack. Well, that's not actually random. That's happened because of all the years of putting crap in your body and the plaque building up. When you don't look after your body properly, these things do come to a point where it just combusts and implodes on itself. So
yeah, we're not perfect systems. Like you have to take care of them. Like if we were robots, you would oil us. People don't even do that, it seems.
And a lot of the time, the things we can do for ourselves to support our bodies, it's actually free. It doesn't even cost anything. which is
I think
an
that blows people's
affirmation.
minds.
That doesn't cost anything to say to that to yourself, to have a bath, put a candle on, like all that stuff doesn't cost money. Go for a walk, be in nature, take your shoes off, touch the grass. That stuff does not cost money.
Yeah. I feel like we've been so programmed that if it doesn't cost money, it's not valuable kind of feeling, or it's not real, which is like the most fucked up thing. And like how we call what's the word? The medicine is like not real medical medicine or whatever. What's alternative medicine? That's the one. And I was like, how is that the alternative when that's like how people have been living like forever now? We've just kind of ignored it because we had the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, exactly
Absolutely
right.
wild. And just even I was talking with my friend, like she's now living on the ground floor and she lived in a high up apartment, just how you can feel the change of just not being grounded and how like unhealthy it really is being up like in the air and not touching the ground with your feet and your actual like without shoes. Wild. Oh, and the sole of the shoe, it was something where it was like they call it the soul of the shoe. It's like a blocker of your soul or something. And I was like, yeah, just take them off. Just life changing.
Yeah. I went way too deep down the rabbit hole with all this sort of stuff.
No, not at all.
They don't relate to me anymore. My partner, he's on board with a lot of like what we discuss. But even interesting story, being in an apartment up high before we moved into a house. Yeah, this is not a conspiracy theory or anything. Literally, when we got back from my mum's place, once I first had the stroke, she lives in the country, well, we in the mountains. We got back and there was a 5G tower that had been built while we were gone. And I got tinnitus, the ringing in my ears. It started and it didn't go away. And I didn't know what to do. It was driving me crazy. So it was like another thing on top of what the debilitating symptoms I already had to deal with. And then this year we spent 4 months in the mountains just before we made the move across the state, sorry. And the ringing in my ears starting to subside. So being immersed in nature for so long has started to make such a difference. And even me meditating and doing the humming vibration breaks it down. So yeah, being up high in the building was actually really detrimental to my health. It was really important for us to get out of there as fast as we could.
Yeah, plus that tower. I believe you. Like I know people that have gone like sort of crazy even just from the big fans, not the fans, but the windmills, the big windmills.
Yeah.
They just exude a vibration that we can't handle and they don't test it properly, just like the contraceptive situation. Yeah. Oh, about that, like it's just crazy how that happened to you. I've been talking about that last week actually. My friend was telling me her story of just the saying, they don't tell you what it's going to be like. You're sick for, well, she was sick for like a really long time on it. How insane is it that they caused you a stroke and that they know that it probably would cause you a stroke and they haven't taken it off the shelves? Like
I learned so much about my menstrual cycle and even the moon, and it sounds weird, but I learned so much more about it. I'm like, hang on, no one told me to learn. I never learned about my body in the way I've learned about it now on my own. Like even the contraceptive pill, people are like, oh, I don't want to get pregnant, but you can still catch sexually transmitted diseases. Like this isn't a foolproof thing to save you from anything. It's really dangerous. And I've never liked doctors. Even prior to the stroke as a kid, and my mum could never get me to the doctor. I've never liked them. I was like, Mum, they're liars. And she's like, Carla, don't say that. I was like, no, they're lying. I've never liked them. So I thought that was really
your intuition.
Yeah, how I always felt about it. And I guess also just to round up my story, at Empire Mastery, when I was really unwell, the first Empire Mastery I went to, which is the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, I signed up to be in Empire Circle and I got accepted.
Wow.
I had a brain infection. So because the part of my brain, it's like a weak spot, and as one of my alternative doctors likes to call it. She's like, it's where pathogens like to party. They can get in there. And so I was then overcoming a brain infection for a good 6 months. And that was really, really difficult. And so the typical allopathic medicine can't actually pick up on it. They just saw another MRI, saw a little bit of inflammation, and then like, yeah, just take a Nurofen. And so I investigated further. I spent so much money on my health to get people to investigate for me, and I found functional medicine, and I found a functional doctor. So they've done all their allopathic training plus more to learn about the systems of the body and how it functions and how to support it. So once I found that doctor, she agreed with everything I had to say, and also was really amazed by all the research I'd done and everything I'd been doing to support my body. And she referred me to other people to help fix what was wrong with my brain. And it was kinesiology. It was lots of different herbal things, like antiviral things. And it helped so much, but you can't take natural herbs. You can't take antiviral things for too long because it actually kills too many things in your body. So I have to keep changing the regime every few months. And not only how expensive that was, that private health insurance doesn't even cover, I had to keep on, I had to find the next person. I had to keep telling them, and I'd get so much appointment fatigue, like telling the next person what's wrong and starting all over again when it got to a point with one person and they're like, I can't do anything else for you, maybe try this person. So all in all, I'm now in a place where my gut health is really good. The gut brain connection is good. I know like my neurons are all firing and wiring together perfectly. And, you know, a doctor could not tell me how to support myself. They wanted to just prescribe a concoction of drugs that may or may not help for something that they don't believe that happened, which can also cause dysformity and infertility. No one asked me if I wanted to have another baby. No one could tell me if I could have another baby, if it was safe to fly, if it was safe to do anything. No one in the allopathic medicine world could give me those answers. So I found a way to get my blood viscosity at a really beautiful flow. I don't know how you say that. And I had to do with Empire Circle, our first immersion was to Uluru, and I hadn't been on a plane since Bali, and I was terrified of flying. So I did everything I could to work out my blood properly and get my body to mitigate as much risk as possible. And I made the flight. I didn't have a panic attack. I had all my techniques and, mental tools ready to go. And, the GP wanted to give me, so they put me on blood thinners originally, but I was allergic to that. So I almost died of the blood thinners when I first got admitted to hospital.
Yeah.
So I couldn't take these blood thinners, and I found a way to actually take enzymes to dissolve anything that was in my blood. And it's a natural thing. I've done everything naturally. So it's so amazing once you just don't give up and keep going, keep looking for the people that are willing to investigate for you. You will get the answers and even more.
Yeah. Like investigate and support. That's all you really need. And I just don't get why it's just, no, here's a pill. We don't believe you every time you go to a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really lucky. My mom kind of went down that hole before me, and it just kind of rubbed off on me. And I've always just believed in that, but support your system, and also less is more initially too. Less is more, but also you still have to do stuff like eat better. Those are less kind of observate like things that you can do, but just popping pills and band-aiding it every which way. It's just, why are you doing that? It's too much, and it's too horrible. Anyway, I'm so glad that you found those people, and it is a little bit like that too. You have to go to the next person to kind of work through the phases, but you were just kind of like guided, it sounded like.
Yeah, it was really difficult because I didn't want to give up, but there were times where was like, fuck, I can't do this again. I don't want to keep reaffirming the story of what has happened. I don't want to be telling myself that. And I found a way to actually deliver the story with a positive spin on it. And that was really important to me, rather than affirming something bad had happened to me. I flipped it and I was like, it's actually the best thing that's ever happened to me, because if I didn't make all these amazing changes, I'd actually be living a really miserable life. I would never have figured out what my true potential is, what I'm capable of, and how I can contribute to the world in a positive way. I never would have done this if it didn't happen. And I know it all happened for me, not to me.
Yeah, beautiful. Everything does happen for you. Oh, I just love your story. Thank you so much for sharing. There's so much more I want to dig into, but I'm just like, oh. Okay. So I don't even know where to go from here. I think I'm just trying to integrate it all. Sorry.
I guess I can, help you integrate this. So, a lot of people ask why I started the business, why I started the affirmation cards. And there was, during the lockdowns, that gave me the time I needed to think. And I thought about the type of mother I wanted to be and how I would protect my son when I can't. And I won't always physically be there to protect him. And, after a while, I had that light bulb moment where I was like, wow, the way I protect him is by helping him develop a solid mental foundation. So he has an automatic program of thoughts that are positively geared to navigate the challenges and triumphs of life with grace and ease. And backtracking for a bit, when the doctor told me that I'd had a stroke, everything my mum had said to me as a child came rushing to the forefront. And I never realized she'd spoken to me in affirmations my whole life. So she always said, Carla, if you ever feel scared, say to yourself, I am safe, I am loved, I am protected, and imagine a white light around you. And I did that. And very fast, I was able to choose not to be a victim of what had happened. And that I chose not to believe the doctor of my prognosis of that I'd be stuck like this forever. And I have just, flipped all that on its head. And it was really the words, the seeds that my mum had planted from a young age came to me and supported me, protected me when I needed it most. And I thought, that's how we help children. That's how we can protect them and help them get through such hardship in life.
And help them actually flourish and be able to take care of themselves, for sure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's beautiful that it came rushing back to you from your mom. I can't believe, yeah, you're totally right, because I've seen it happen in other adults too. Like their programming they just shut down when they hear bad news. Instead of looking at it from a bigger perspective or a different perspective, they can't look outside of themselves for that. So they don't have the right tools. You're totally right.
I mean, it's not as if, I did decide not to be a victim straight away, but it was a process that didn't happen overnight. Like once I understood what the stroke meant, and it took a long time. So I'm now just over 3 years into this healing journey. And whilst I am so much better than I was last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know that I've improved so much, and I know I'm not going to go back to normal. I'm going to be better than normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that happens to us, you can change it to be better than you were. And also it's going to obviously take time. It's going to keep coming back. And we always do have to fight that kind of victim mentality. I feel like it's just our regular programming. It's very powerful. Very, very amazing. You're like the strongest human I've met. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were the so strongest listening to your podcast. I was like, wow, she's done so many amazing, courageous things. And I thought, how you've navigated the challenges of losing your mum as well. And like, you're the strongest, one of the strongest people who's now a big influence in my life. I will continue to listen to you and what you have to say, because I want to listen to someone that's had and lived those experiences and how they've overcome them. So, you know, my hat goes off to you as well for being an incredible woman.
Oh, thank you. Never thought of myself that way, so that's so nice. I'm glad that story like resonated with you. And I just, you just don't look at like what you've done and appreciate it as well. But this is also why I started this podcast, because, people told me stories that were amazing and we didn't get a chance to tell other people and share it with other people. Everyone who's told me an epic story has always stuck with me. Like I tell stories from people I met when I was like 15, like, yeah, just sticks with you, and they're just stories that need to be told. So lovely.
And even if like there's one thing that stands out from this conversation and helps someone, take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that a word that you and I have said, then I think that's success in itself.
Yeah, it is. I always find myself being that person too, that just takes someone's story and I take it fully on board and I align it to like what I've gone through or what I want to go through or what, how I want to be as a person. And I just try and integrate that. So I hope everyone takes that from this episode too. Yeah, very beautiful. You've like left me speechless. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll take that as a win. Yes.
yeah, exactly. I can talk forever. I don't know if there's anything else we can really dig into. I guess, what would be, so like from now, let's move forward to the future. Like, what do you imagine the future is looking like for you?
Having another baby. So I'm working so hard on building that trust with my body. I've been building it, but it's still not there. I'm still, there's still some fear. So, even it started when I had a baby. I'm not shitting on the allopathic medical system, but my experience was just so bad. And it kind of teaches you to not trust your own body. The message is always delivered with the most dire news to start with. And I didn't know how to trust my own body. And because my baby came 4 weeks early, the doctor didn't believe me that I was in labor. It was 4 days and I said, this baby is coming, and they're like, no, you're too early, it's not possible, it's Braxton Hicks. Lo and behold, the next day the doctor was walking past, a male. He's like, I do this all the time. I said, I'm female, I can understand my body, and I had a baby in my arms. And he couldn't even make eye contact with me. So I felt like that whole experience, I lost trust with my body. I didn't know how to trust it. So yeah, building that trust up with it, and also, doing as much as I can, doing my meditation. And I understand the science of meditation a lot better now, and what it does, the chemical reactions that it does to your body. So having another baby is on the cards. We moved up to the Central Coast in New South Wales. So I've always wanted to have a view of the ocean. The ocean is my medicine. I swim all throughout the year. I just need to see it and I'm okay, but I've always wanted to have a view of the ocean, and I've finally got my view of the ocean. So everything on my vision board in the last few years has started to come to life, and that's really powerful, because I'm like, shit, I actually am creating my own reality now. So baby, marriage, we put that off for so long because it was just, actually, my partner and I met, and 3 months later I was pregnant. It was not planned, it was a surprise. But it actually worked out to be the best thing ever, because lucky we love each other. So it was like, we just met each other. I was pregnant, stroke. There wasn't any time to enjoy each other properly. So marriage is on the cards, and we're so invested in building this empire because it's so exciting. It's exciting that we're on the same page, that we can do it together and we can support each other. And also Hawaii, that's calling me. I'm still freaking out about doing a 9-hour plane ride. I haven't done that yet. I've done, 4.5, 5 hours to Uluru. So that's going to be another fear that I conquer, being on a plane for too long. Even though I love traveling, I've been flying my whole life, just, this new fear that keeps rearing its ugly head. I want to conquer that. I want to go to Hawaii, and I want to just keep on traveling the world with my family, because my son has learned so much from being out of the city and having that experiential learning. There's hands-on experiences. I want to travel as much as Australia and internationally as I can whilst building the businesses. That's the plan. I'm also have a baby.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that all for you. You can do it. I love it. I want to go to Hawaii too. Maybe I'll be on the same plane. We'll be in business class together.
We will. Yes, we will.
So good. I love that you have a view of the ocean too. I feel like, could you please send me a video?
Sure will. Yes, I will. It kind of has a little Hawaii vibe here. I've got these beautiful palm trees and green hills and the ocean. So I'll send you a video.
Yeah, even behind you, you have all the palm leaves there. Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice outlook. Whatever way you look in the house, it's beautiful.
Incredible. I'm glad your vision board is coming to life. Like, that's just beautiful. Like, and you are able to heal yourself and then bring your like perfect life to fruition through such a struggle. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, when I stop and reflect, I'm like, whoa, shit, good on me. Well done, Carla. Like, I have been through a lot, and I haven't been a victim about it. Like, that's one of the biggest things for me, that I haven't fallen into that victim mentality. And just some of the stuff that's come through on my vision board. My car, the exact car, had no idea how I was going to get it. How it came into my life was amazing. And then I wanted to live in the mountains where my mum lives. I didn't want to live there permanently. I just wanted to live there for a few months and have a good chunk of being close to her. We did that this year. Some stockists that I wanted for my affirmation cards, they're on board, and a big collaboration that I wanted to do, a partnership I wanted to build, which I will deliver to the world soon. They approached me. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's just some of the things. And I think, it's being in alignment with your thoughts, your actions, your behavior. And I keep attracting, and my affirmations every day, I've not stopped doing that. I will never ever stop doing that, because I'm programming to tell myself that it's already happened.
Yeah, and they cost nothing, and they just can change everything. Yeah. And meditation too. Even just grounding and breath work and all of that, if you do that even a little bit. I did it in just a chunk where I was just going through some stuff, and everything around me shifted, and things just started appearing, and all of that evidence came. And I was like, it's that simple in a weird way.
It is. It absolutely is so simple. Yeah, I love breath work, and we don't actually know how to breathe properly.
Yeah.
When you watch a movie and there's like the cliffhanger, and you hold your breath, or you're driving in traffic and we hold our breath a lot. So learning how to breathe properly, that was another one of the healing modalities that I used to get more oxygen in my body. Like, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. Every part of your body needs it. Why do we just stop breathing? Like,
yeah,
very interesting. Wow. Okay. I love it. So your future looks amazing and bright, and I'm so happy for you, and I will be visiting soon. I love it. I have one question I always ask everyone at the end, because I can't seem to stop talking. So I just throw this one out there. What's one piece of advice or inspiration you'd love to leave the listeners with, to help them through, like, continue their journey, start their journey, or the transformation kind of growth journey?
Start saying affirmations now, because you are in control of your thoughts. You can program your mind, and your thoughts create your reality. So it doesn't matter if you're really advanced or you're not. Even though I call myself, I'm advanced in affirmations now, I'm an advanced with mindset, and I could totally become a neuroscientist. Like, I know.
I was thinking you should. Please teach more people about this. I would love to know more about, what you learned about the brain. Like, I know, you can create new neural pathways. Is that what you were doing to rebuild your brain? Yeah.
It's like, I was creating a whole new path because I was saying and doing the same thing over and over. But not only that, I had to do brain training. So brushing my teeth with my left hand, brushing my hair with my opposite hand. I would also, and this came from putting post-it notes and reminders everywhere. I'd have to get out of bed on the opposite side, doing lots of brain training to stimulate my memory in different parts of the brain. Another effect of the stroke was my comprehension. So like now I know I could have I could have a conversation with you. Consciously, I had no idea what we were talking about. But obviously, subconsciously, I knew, and I could actually respond to you. And then it wouldn't be for months down the track that I'd be like, oh, that's what we were talking about. And it had finally come to me. So that's why I started to do a lot of brain training and entrainment. And I'd listen to healing frequencies and different sorts of binaural beats. So I would say to everyone, the brain is so powerful. The mind, where is it? No one knows. It's something we can't see, we can't touch, but it has so much information and you can program it however you want. Another tip I might add is that I listen to Baroque music when I'm doing my work and different sorts of music, special music frequencies to support, whether it's focus, being creative, or whether I'm studying and I need to learn something. Support your brain and give it the right frequencies to speed up the process and accelerate your learning or whatever it is you're doing. The brain is so amazing and there are so many ways you actually can support it.
Yeah. And yeah, the key is just support. Give it the support it needs. And it costs nothing. I've been working to that kind of stuff now too, the theta and the healing sounds. And actually in our bus, I was like saying we're having speakers in our bathroom. I was like, we're putting, healing spa binaural beats though. Binaural beats are going in our bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to be the most life-changing little capsule on wheels.
Also, it's going to have the best vibration.
Yeah. Just living out there. Oh, are you going to live in a tiny home one day?
Yeah, I would love to put some. My mum's actually going to put some on her property as well, so we can live in there for bits and pieces. But for right now, we need to be in a house. There are pieces of land around here, but we're not in a position to get that just yet. So I think eventually we would like to be more in nature, immersed in that. But for right now, being close to the warehouse and the production of everything, it makes sense to stay where we are.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just asking because I'm like, we need to just live in the middle of Australia or wherever together and just park next to each other.
Yeah, we do. I guess it's the beauty of it. I can pick up and move my tiny home wherever I want if I get sick of that spot. So
yeah. But you can also just come anywhere with your online business and your empire as well. So
yeah,
exactly right. There's no borders. It's so good.
It's awesome. So I think that's a beautiful way to keep inspiring people to live, that you don't have to do the 9 to 5, you don't have to do the rat race. There's a better way to do life. And study successful people, study people that have achieved and got what you want, ask them how they got there, and life can change. You can actually get out of whatever you feel like you're stuck in and do life a different way. So we've already done that in the last 12 months. And I think, eventually we will, who knows, it could be a year, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, but eventually we will go to more of a minimalistic lifestyle.
Yeah. And that's great advice. Yeah. Just like ask people, the curiosity will lead your life in such a good direction. If you just ask how to do it and ask the people that are already living what you want to be living. It's that beautiful. Okay. I guess we'll wrap it up. So I just want to thank you again for being on here. I should ask before, for our listeners, if they want to connect with you and probably buy your affirmation cards and more, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, so you can find the affirmation cards at eagle.and.owl on Instagram or on Facebook, or www.eagleandowl.com.au if you would like to buy them. If you would like to connect personally, my personal Instagram is Carla J. Lombardo, or you can send through inquiries through my website, which is carlajlombardo.co. You can find me there as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I love being able to help people and help them find which is the best next step for them to make change or just improve or enhance what they were already doing. So I'm always open and up for a chat if anyone needs any advice or just to be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. So good. I'll be asking questions. I'll be in there.
Please do.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day as well. And maybe we'll do this again. I feel like there's so much here we need to uncover again.
Yeah, there's definitely lots more to unpack. But thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking an interest. It means a lot. And thank you for letting me share my story. I hope it can help someone along the way on their own journey through life.
Yeah, I know it will. I can feel that it will. Thank you.
Love your energy. Even though we're on the opposite sides of Australia, it feels really comfortable and beautiful in your presence. I think I've said that 3 times while we've been speaking, but it's beautiful. Thank you.
That's how I feel too, though. And you're welcome. There's that panda energy for you.
Yes, thank you for your panda energy. And I will let you know what the panda means. I'll send you a picture soon about the panda.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so freaking grateful to have shared this space with you today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you join me on Instagram. I'd love to connect in the DMs and chat all things transformation. Hear some of your stories, your journey. It would be so cool. It would also mean the world to me if you did just click the little follow bell on Spotify or head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a quick review. With your help, we can help more people feel the incredible depths of transformation through stories and teachings shared here. And, please remember, you can do anything you hear here too. It is not for just other people to do. You can do it too. Thank you so much, gorgeous soul. See you on the next episode.